I knew the storage space was going to end and the video would stop automatically, but I stopped at a perfect timing, so now we can resume. A lot is for you, a Buddha to be. Here in one place are the summaries for practice gathered from throughout the book. Focus on one suitable for your level at this point, or you could alternate among them over the course of a week. Cultivated patiently over time, the practices will become more and more familiar and your life will become more meaningful. Morality of individual liberation. Examine your motivation as often as you can, even before getting out of bed in the morning. Establish a non-violent, non-abusive outlook for your day. At night, examine what you did during the day. Notice how much suffering there is in your own life. There is a physical and mental pain which you naturally seek to avoid, such as sickening, aging, and death. There are temporary experiences, eating food that seem pleasurable in and of themselves, but partaken continuously turn into pain. This is the suffering of change. When a situation switches from pleasure to pain, reflect on the fact that the deeper nature of the original pleasure is revealing itself. Attachment to such superficial pleasures will only bring more pain. Morality of concern for others. A lot is for you, a Buddha to be. Enjoy. Perform the 5 steps visualization for developing compassion. Remain calm and reasonable. In front of you to the right, imagine another version of yourself, egotistical and self-centered. In front of you to the left, imagine a group of poor people, suffering beings who are unrelated to you, neither friendly nor enemy. Observe these two sides from your calm vantage point. Now think, both want happiness, both want to get rid of suffering, both have the right to accomplish these goals. Consider this, just as usually we are willing to make temporary sacrifices for a greater long-term good, so the benefit of the larger number of suffering brings to your left is much more important than this single egotistical person on your right. Notice your mind naturally turning to the side of the greater number of people. Perform the ritual for the aspiration to enlightenment. First take the 7 preliminary steps. Make homage to the Shakyamuni Buddha, surrounded by innumerable bodhisattvas, whom you imagine filling the sky in front of you. Offer all wonderful things, whether you own them or not, including your body, resources, and your own virtue, to the Buddhas and bodhisattvas. Disclose the countless ill deeds of body, speech, and mind you have perpetrated with an intent to harm others. Regret having done them and intend to abstain from them in the future. Admire from the depths of the heart your own virtues and those of others. Take joy in the good things you have done in this and previous lives, thinking, I really did something good. Take joy in the virtues of others, including those of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Entreat the Buddhas who have become completely enlightened but have not yet taught to teach for the sake of those who suffer. Supplicate the Buddhas not to pass away. Dedicate these 6 practices to attaining highest enlightenment. Then undertake the central part of the ritual for aspiring to enlightenment. With a strong determination to attain Buddhahood in order to serve other beings, imagine a Buddha in front of you, or your spiritual teacher as a representation of Buddha. Recite these 3 times as if you are repeating after him or her. Until I reach enlightenment, I seek refuge in the Buddha, the doctrine, and the supreme spiritual community. Through the collections of merit of my giving, morality, patience, effort, concentration, and wisdom, may I achieve Buddhahood in order to help all beings. To maintain and strengthen this profound altruism in this life, perform the following. Recall again and again the benefits of developing an intention to become enlightened for the sake of others. Divide the day into 3 periods of the night into 3 periods, and during each of those periods, take a little time out or rouse yourself from sleep and practice the 5-step visualizations given earlier. It is also sufficient to visualize the 5 steps 3 times, 1 in the morning session that lasts around 15 minutes, 3 times in 1 night session for 15 minutes. Avoid mental neglecting the welfare of even one being. As much as possible, engage in virtuous activity with a good attitude and develop a rough understanding of the nature of reality, or maintain a wish to do so and work at it. To maintain and strengthen this profound altruism in future lives, do not lie to anyone at all unless you can help others greatly through lying. Directly or indirectly, help people to progress towards enlightenment. Treat all beings with respect. Never cheat anyone and always remain honest. In a sense, think again and again, may I become able to help all beings. Concentrated meditation. Choose an object of meditation and focus your mind on it, trying to achieve and maintain stability, clarity, and intensity. Avoid laxity and excitement. Alternatively, identify the fundamental state of the mind, unsoiled by thought, just in its own state. Mirror luminously the state nature of the mind with mindfulness and introspection. Remain in the state. If a thought arises, just look into the very nature of that thought itself. This will cause it to lose its power and dissolve of its own accord. Wisdom. As an exercise in identifying how objects and beings falsely appear in perception, try the following. Observe how an item such as a watch appears in a store when you first notice it, then how it appears and changes and becomes even more concrete as your interest grows, and finally how it appears after you have bought it in considerate years. Notice at variations of times how you yourself appear to your mind as if existent in and of yourself without depending on mind and body. Then frequently reflect on how phenomena arise in dependence and causes and conditions, and observe how this contradicts the way people and things offer to exist in their own right, to exist inherently. If you tend towards nihilism, reflect more on dependent arising. If by concentrating on causes and conditions you tend to reinforce the inherent existence of the phenomenon, put more emphasis on how dependence contradicts this so solid appearance. You will probably be pulled from one side to another. The true middle way takes time to find. Also, identify the luminous in knowing the nature of the mind unclouded by thoughts and without any conceptual overlay. Probe the deeper nature of the mind repeatedly to reveal its absence of inherent existence, its emptiness. Reflect on the mind's dependence on causes, conditions, and parts. For the mind, any length of time of the mind, whether 1 minute or the shortest moment, depends on earlier and later parts of that time period. Try to realize the compatibility of the appearance of the mind with its emptiness of the inherent existence. See how these two mutually support each other. Tantra. Since the practice of Tantra is primarily to transform how you see yourself, others, and the environment, it can be helpful to visualize yourself as having a compassionate motivation, pure body, and activities benefiting others. Through my own knowledge is limited and my experience is also very poor, I have tried my best to help you understand the full breadth of the Buddha's teachings. Please implement whatever in these pages appears to be helpful. If you follow another religion, please adopt whatever might assist you. If you do not think it would be helpful, just leave it alone.